I am so excited to have a very, very special new thought leader with me here today. Her name is Dawn Montefusco, and she's a transformational life coach for creatives. And she is also such a beautiful goddess and a writer, a speaker. She's got a lot of talent, and I am so, so grateful to have you part of this movement, Dawn, because you are such a powerful new feminine thought leader. And in
Oh,
fact, Dawn is the one that came up with Awaken, the new feminine paradigm. She was like, oh my God, Schamet, I got something for you. It's so perfect. It's so perfect. And then I read the email and I was like, it just landed. I was like, oh, goddess.
yeah.
That is it. And I've loved it so much. Like, not only is it my summit name, but it's now my publishing for my
Oh,
publishing
yeah.
company for my Oracle decks. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
think
I
I've told you
love it.
that yet.
Yes, yes. No, you haven't, but that's awesome.
I mean, it's a
I
little bit long, like it's a bit long to be a publishing name, but I freaking love it so
No,
much.
it's
And
not. No, it's not. Yeah, yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
yeah.
Can
And can
you
you, Dawn, can you
just
tell us a little bit more? Dawn, can you tell us a little
yeah.
bit more about what you do?
Yeah. So, right now, because of my transformation over 50, I'm 56, and working with you as my coach, I realized I was a midlife high achiever who was burnt out, and I had given up on a bucket list dream, divorce, death, breakups, pandemic, you name it. And I felt empty. I mean, I was really empty and hopeless. I mean, really, truly, like I was in a like, all right, here we go. And you helped me admit to what I was terrified to admit to, which is that my dream city to live in was San Diego, and I didn't have a partner, and I was divorced and had a breakup, and I was like, there's no way I'm doing this for myself. To which Shemet is a very powerful coach and priestess. And she said, well, then you're going to have to do it by yourself because that's your rite of passage. And, and so what was interesting about that is that it was true. And so I, didn't have a lot of money at the time because of the breakups and the death and everything. Like I was running my business, but it wasn't glowed up like it had been. And I managed to relocate and live into my soul's calling with this dream. And I'm still amazed. And it gave me a sense of life has just begun, which I think is really important for anyone, let's say 40 and up, like we don't have to say 50 and up, even though, I love people who are in their 50s who are like, what do I do? So I specifically say I'm a transformational coach for midlife high achievers who are burnt out and want to fulfill a bucket list item or a dream. And usually, 9 times out of 10, it's something creative that they've left behind. So I've helped doctors like the top skin doctor in Portland, Oregon, was so afraid to admit that she was an artist, that she was a watercolor artist. And she hired me, and it was remarkable that belief system. Because I was like, what do you mean? Like, you can be an artist. But then I was like, wow, we really, as we age, it's almost like those voices get bigger. But then we say, oh, we have everything. We have the job, we have the kids, we have the husband, we have this, and there's still something that's just not working. And I remember she didn't think her marriage was working. She thought she had difficulty with her kids. Um, and it was step by step. First, she got the table. Then she was lucky enough to have a beach house. So she figured out that if she went there on the weekends, but then she's like, oh, like every little detail, we went really, really, really slow. And what happened is within 3 months, not only was she on cloud nine, watercoloring, her kids loved it because they said, Mommy, you're so happy. She was like, I don't even know why I thought my marriage was my marriage is amazing. And then she wound up making botanical cards because she was using medicines that came from the plants. So she was painting the plant medicines. And she does naturopathic work as well as MD, cancer removal, skin cancer. And now her work is in hospitals around the country, and she's grew
Oh,
practice, her practice grew without any marketing, and people trusted her more because she's an artist, And so I was like, we are on to something. And so originally, and you know this, I had focused a lot as a transformational writing coach, which I have an MFA in writing, and my best-selling book, Cracking the Resistance Code: How to Break Through the Fear of Uncertainty and Write Your Book, um, got into four categories. I was very proud of that: self-help, education, writing reference, and something else, doesn't matter. But I realized short books were actually really important because we have very busy families, work, and yet if you have a book in you, which is another creative process,
yes. Yeah.
it's not difficult. And
Yeah.
so I did that with some clients. Some of my clients, and they hit bestseller. One had The Vegan Brain. And by the way, I would never read a book about veganism, even though I have played there. But a 40-page Kindle book, well, heck yeah, I'm gonna read it about my brain health. And that hit bestseller for her, and it got her better clients. And I thought, wow, and even I know new things. Like, even if I'm not gonna adopt the total veganism, like, I was amazed at how we could really tell great stories, because if it's Googleable, it's not a book or story. It's got to be personal. How did you come to know this information? So between writing and art, and then even I had a very he's a big shot, worked with Amazon, I'll just say that, for years. He had 3 different offices around the world, and he really wanted to lose 40 pounds, and he wanted to date again. And in the process of doing that, which he lost the weight, did the marathon, he started writing poetry. And it was because of his poetry that he started to meet women that were more in alignment with him. And then he realized how good he felt. So he started having retreats with his employees, which he had never done before. And he thought they hated him. And it was completely opposite. They adored him. And so it it's these high achievers that are 40, 50, 60, that we write these stories in our heads because we feel like we're at the end of something as opposed to at the beginning of something. So
Yeah.
that's what you showed me how to do. And now that's what I do with others. So,
That is so great. That is,
yeah.
I'm so proud of you how you followed your dreams. It's one thing for a clairvoyant coach, conscious creation coach, to say, I envision you moving to San Diego. It's like, that's one piece of it, but you actually moved to San Diego. Like, you have done it. And I'm so proud of you for,
It was not easy, but it
I
was
know.
but one step at a time,
Yeah.
and trusting spirit. And when you're in alignment, and if you work with a
Yes.
coach and that coach gets you into alignment, it works out,
Yeah.
and never the way you think, but you've got to have someone to help with that mindset piece of just staying with it. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, my life is the life that I wanted, And yeah, so I think that we all have, and right now, so let me tell you all a little bit of something, something, something. So when Schamet was saying how I came up, helped her, supported her in coming up with the name um for the summit and her business, it's before AI. I was in marketing and PR, and I was an editor-in-chief at Neo, which is a high-end fitness company. And I was able to get people's open rates up from like 15% for their emails to like 25, 30%, which is a big jump, especially without AI. We didn't have that. So there was this intuitive knack I had. I'm a poet, for words and language. And I feel that when I finally realized that words and language can trick us into thinking we have to follow what's in our mind, when words and language is just a tool
Yeah.
to help us know what's in our heart and in our spirit. And we get confused by those two things. And so when you're working with someone intuitive and a clairvoyant, and you're more than that, you're all the clairs. I forget there's a
Yeah, I have all
um
of them. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and so you help me learn how to feel my way
Mm.
through because I got caught in the words in my head. And although I have a great talent for it, that's not necessarily where you go to find the answer. It's just a tool to help you really understand the answers inside of you. And so that's been a really great journey that you helped me develop. And I'm really
Oh,
excited. Yeah.
yay. I'm so glad.
Well,
And
you're
I'm really excited to show you something real quick. I mean, I know we're recording, but I can tell everybody about it because I've just gone to print and I've created two Oracle decks talk about dreams coming true. And I made these out of paper. So this is
I'm so
Wounds to
excited.
Wisdom,
Wow.
and this is the Awaken the
Wow.
New Feminine Paradigm logo is a lighthouse.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's so good. And then you go from darkness to light.
Oh, I can't
Isn't
wait.
that
When are we
beautiful?
talking?
I'm going to be sending you a copy of this, you know. Of
Oh, you're so sweet.
course I
Yes,
am.
I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait.
I know it's so exciting. And
And I'm
then
going to tell everybody about it.
I know, totally. But of course I'm a Gemini, so I had to do two at the same time. And so I've got this one is Awaken the Oracle and its psychic abilities, and then
Oh,
also
yeah.
you go from not as much darkness to
Wow.
light, and then there's Island Bay on the back. But I'm
This is
so
gorgeous.
excited to show you
That's
because
gorgeous.
you're a writing coach and you've published, and I've
Yes.
always known that I would be published one day, and I have done
Yes. You know what's weird?
it.
This is so us. Like as soon as you said oracle cards, I had already seen them, and I mean literally, I was like, oh, they're done. And we don't we already have those? Because I could, it was like
Yeah.
so real and visceral already for me
Wow.
when you said that. Because I was like, I think I already thought she did that. Or maybe I had psychically seen it, because I know I trust my psychic abilities now on a level that is changing my life. And when we go to the awaken, say it again, the awaken,
Awaken
I
the
don't
new
want
feminine paradigm.
paradigm. I just awakening. The thing about awakening the new feminine paradigm that's really fascinating is it's it's men too learning
Yes.
to follow your feelings.
Mhm.
And it's taken me forever, 56, whatever, however long it takes to understand the difference between emotions and feelings, because my emotions can really take me for a ride. And they can be triggered by body chemistry, being hungry, my thoughts, what somebody said. Emotions are really just these waves. And so it's taken a long time for me to understand the difference between my emotional world and what I feel,
Well, you're
and then what
gonna
I think.
Dawn, you're gonna love them. They're in a spiritual and emotional intelligence guidebook.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
So combining the spirituality, the metaphysics, the positive psychology,
Ah,
all of
so
it
good.
together. Yeah, I realized, when I went back to university for psychology, I was like, oh my gosh, how is this going to fit in with my spirituality? And I
Like,
realized that it fits in perfectly. It's like, whoa, two halves of the whole, like
there's a great line.
spirituality and,
Oh,
that's the Eastern, Western, metaphysical, like it goes together. It's yeah. Anyways.
uh, uh,
And Awaken, and just so you know, Awaken the New Feminine Paradigm is the third Oracle deck I'm creating with an artist. She's doing all the paintings. She started it already. She's already done one of the paintings. So it's going to be a 2 year process, but it's going to be beautiful. So
oh, it's amazing.
I'm so grateful for you channeling that because I know you channeled it. You're a wordsmith. And,
Yeah.
that's another thing that you could be helping people with is branding and word alchemy. for their business,
Yes,
just to
yes,
put
yes,
that
yes.
on your resume.
I definitely, well, I'm a storytelling strategist. I'm a master storyteller, and I've studied story ad nauseum like for years and years, but really intensely in the last 5 years. And that's not just for books, but when I'm listening to a client and listening to the story that they told themselves.
Yes.
And not of course, you don't just say to them, that's a story you're telling yourself. You can't say that. You have to slowly ask questions so that you guide the client to understand that it's a story that they've been telling themselves, and they can change that story. Because our belief systems are not our fault.
No, that's
And
very
that is a huge, like, aha. When I first heard that, I was screaming it from the rooftops. It's
I
like 10 years
know.
ago.
So good, huh?
It's like it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility,
Mm,
especially when we know, to then understand, okay, so what's real for me? And that's that's the dark night of the soul. That's where everything falls apart and has to be rebuilt.